I'm who they've been looking for. That wasn't just confidence. That was a declaration. When Shedeur Sanders stepped onto European soil, this wasn't about vacation photos or luxury sightseeing. This wasn't another athlete posting filtered skyline pictures for engagement. This was calculated, strategic, intentional. The kind of move that signals something bigger is happening behind the scenes. Because when the ownership of Chelsea FC personally invites you to experience a Premier League match at Stamford Bridge, you're not just a guest. You're a piece on the board. And the board is global. The moment Shedeur arrived in London, cameras followed. Not casually. Not randomly. Every tunnel step, every glance at the pitch, every interaction was documented. Social media lit up within seconds of his presence being confirmed. Fans weren't just reacting, they were analyzing. Why is he here? What does this mean? Is this bigger than football? The truth is, yes, it is. Because this wasn't about him suiting up in blue. It wasn't about kicking a ball or testing a new sport. It was about influence. It was about positioning. It was about two powerful brands recognizing each other's value at the exact right time. At first glance, it looked like a celebrity courtside moment, the kind we've seen 100 times. An American star visiting a historic European stadium. Cool photo opportunity. Nice hospitality. Move on. But this felt different. This had intention behind it. Chelsea didn't open their doors out of kindness. They opened them out of vision. The Premier League is already a global machine, but growth never stops. Especially in America, where soccer is steadily rising but still chasing football and basketball in dominance. And Shedeur? He connects directly to young American sports fans, the exact audience European clubs want to secure long-term. That tunnel walk wasn't random. That was soft power marketing executed at the highest level. When Shedeur stood inside Stamford Bridge, absorbing the chants, the history, the electricity of a Premier League match day, he wasn't just experiencing culture. He was bridging cultures. And behind this move stands one man thinking several steps ahead, Todd Boehly. Boehly doesn't think small. He doesn't think locally. He thinks in markets, in expansion, in brand ecosystems. As an American businessman leading an English football powerhouse, he understands something many European executives don't fully grasp. You can't win America with trophies alone. You win America with culture. You win America with personalities they already connect with. And Shedeur Sanders is culture. He carries swagger, youth appeal, and generational influence. He understands social media. He understands digital leverage. When he posts, millions watch. When he shows interest in something, curiosity spikes instantly. That kind of organic influence is worth more than any traditional advertising campaign. And Chelsea knew it. They didn't just give him seats. They gave him access. Behind-the-scenes energy. VIP treatment. Seamless hospitality. Reports even suggested a dedicated staff member stayed with him throughout the visit, ensuring every moment flowed perfectly, every camera angle was clean, every experience unforgettable. That's not random generosity. That's strategy in motion. The objective was simple. Create an experience so powerful that Shedeur would want to share it naturally. No scripts. No forced captions. Just genuine excitement. And when he held up that custom Chelsea jersey, personalized, stitched with his name and number like he was part of the squad, that image carried weight. It wasn't merchandise. It was symbolism. It said, "You belong here." And when that image hit social media, the ripple effect crossed the Atlantic instantly. Millions of young American fans who may have never watched a Premier League match suddenly had a reason to pay attention. That's how brands expand today. Not through billboards. Through moments. Now pause for a second. If you're seeing the bigger picture already, drop a comment below and let me know. Is Shedeur building something larger than football right now? And if you respect how he's moving strategically, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Because we're breaking down every chess move as it happens. Now let's go deeper. Shedeur isn't just another quarterback with a famous last name. He's becoming one of the most marketable young athletes in America. Every appearance becomes content. Every move becomes conversation. And that's rare. Most athletes chase endorsements after proving themselves for years. Shedeur is building his portfolio while still climbing professionally. That's leverage. When companies look at him, they don't just see a quarterback. They see a trendsetter. They see engagement numbers. They see cross-market appeal. They see a bridge between sports, fashion, and digital culture. And then came Paris. Reports surfaced that Shedeur and his brother secured a massive deal with luxury fashion house Mi Paris, a contract rumored to be worth 9 figures. Let that breathe. 9 figures. That kind of partnership isn't handed out casually. It's reserved for global faces, for culture shifters, for individuals who move markets, which tells you everything you need to know. Shedeur isn't just playing football. He's building an empire. From London stadium tunnels to Paris fashion circles, he's positioning himself as more than an athlete. He's becoming an international presence before even fully establishing himself in the NFL. And that's bold. But here's the part that separates hype from longevity. Through all the cameras, all the VIP invites, all the luxury deals, he hasn't lost focus on the main mission: football. When the Cleveland Browns selected him in the 5th round, analysts called it a steal. Some questioned how someone with his talent and buzz slid that far. But draft position doesn't determine long-term power anymore. Influence changes the math. His jersey sales surged. His engagement numbers skyrocketed. Fans connect with him beyond statistics. They feel like they know him. And loyalty like that cannot be manufactured. It's earned. But Shedeur understands something critical. Brand power fades fast if performance doesn't back it up. If Sundays don't produce results, endorsements cool down. That's why, while the world watches his global moves, he's grinding behind the scenes. Film study, playbook mastery, extra reps, leadership development. He knows hype is loud, but production is louder. And that awareness, that's dangerous, because it means he's not distracted. He's aligned. The visit to Stamford Bridge wasn't a detour. It was expansion. Chelsea strengthens its American presence. Shedeur strengthens his global brand. That's a clean win-win. And we're watching it unfold in real time. This isn't just a quarterback fighting for snaps anymore. This is a new era athlete who understands leverage, digital currency, and international positioning before even hitting his professional peak. And if this is how he's moving now, imagine the board 5 years from today. The spotlight doesn't dim when you land back in America. It gets brighter. After the London headlines, after the Stamford Bridge cameras, after the custom jersey moments, Shedeur Sanders returned to a reality far less glamorous: the NFL grind. Because influence might travel first class, but football is earned in the trenches. The moment the Cleveland Browns called his name in the 5th round, the narrative machine started spinning. Some analysts called it a steal. Others called it hype outweighing production. A few questioned whether the spotlight around his brand would become a distraction. And that's where the real test begins. Because in today's league, it's not enough to throw touchdowns. You're evaluated in 2 arenas at once: the field and the feed. Every rep is studied. Every incompletion becomes a debate. Every social media post becomes commentary fuel. This is the modern quarterback experience. But Shedeur doesn't look overwhelmed. He looks prepared. That's because he understands something many athletes struggle to grasp. Visibility is leverage, but performance is survival. There's a difference. A lot of young stars chase clout. They want the flash, the viral moment, the endorsement deal before the resume is fully built. And when performance dips, the spotlight turns harsh. Shedeur is moving differently. The Europe trip, the luxury partnerships, the global positioning, none of it feels frantic. None of it feels like he's chasing attention. It feels like expansion layered on top of discipline. Because behind the VIP access and international branding is a player who knows his Sundays will determine everything. Film sessions don't trend on social media. Extra reps after practice don't get headlines. Playbook mastery doesn't go viral. But that's the foundation. And from everything we've seen, he's committed to that foundation. Now let's zoom out. We're witnessing a generational shift in how athletes operate. Previous eras relied almost entirely on contracts. Big signing bonus. Long-term deal. Hope for endorsement crumbs after Pro Bowl seasons. This era builds portfolios. This era builds ecosystems. Shedeur represents a new blueprint: the athlete as CEO, the quarterback as brand architect, the player as long-term investor in his own narrative. When Todd Bowley opened the doors at Chelsea FC, that wasn't just hospitality. That was recognition of where sports are heading. Cross-market visibility, cultural crossover, global positioning before athletic peak. And the NFL sees it too. Because whether critics admit it or not, Shedeur brings eyeballs. He brings engagement. He brings curiosity from audiences who might not normally follow depth chart battles. But here's where the pressure tightens. When you carry influence before you carry championships, the margin for error shrinks. One bad stretch, the narrative shifts to overrated. One mistake, too focused on branding. One off week, more celebrity than quarterback. That's the environment. And navigating it requires maturity beyond years. What makes Shedeur dangerous isn't just confidence, it's composure. He doesn't respond emotionally to every headline. He doesn't overcorrect publicly. He keeps stacking quietly. And that silence? That consistency? It builds tension in the best way. Because people are waiting. Waiting to see if the hype converts. Waiting to see if the fifth-round pick becomes a franchise answer. Waiting to see if the global brand translates to Sunday dominance. But here's the reality, the league has changed. Quarterbacks are no longer just field generals. They are brand centers. They are digital hubs. They are cultural figures. Look across sports, the most powerful names aren't just stat leaders. They are ecosystem builders. Shedeur is building early. And that early foundation could create long-term freedom. Imagine this scenario. Performance rises, wins stack, playoff moments arrive. Now combine that with international brand positioning already established. That's when leverage explodes. That's when contract negotiations shift power. That's when endorsement value multiplies. That's when a player moves from promising to untouchable. And here's the key, he seems to understand patience. He's not rushing to prove everything in 1 month. He's not forcing narratives. He's letting the game slow down. Letting the opportunity come to him. Letting the brand expand naturally. That's chess, not checkers. Now let me pause here for a second. If you're seeing how different this blueprint is compared to past generations, drop a comment right now. Is Shedeur redefining what a young NFL quarterback looks like off the field? And if you're locked into this breakdown, hit that like button and subscribe. Because this story isn't surface level. We're dissecting every layer. Now back to the bigger picture. The Stamford Bridge visit symbolized more than a cool overseas trip. It symbolized validation from another global sports powerhouse. It showed that influence travels across leagues. And that changes how athletes think about themselves. No longer confined to one sport. No longer boxed into one market. The modern athlete understands global adjacency, how American football can intersect with European soccer, how fashion intersects with performance, how digital presence fuels opportunity. Shedeur is stepping into all of it without looking overwhelmed. That's rare. Because most players either go all in on football and ignore branding, or chase branding and let performance slip. Balance is the separator. And if he maintains that balance, something bigger is forming. This isn't just about becoming a starting quarterback. This is about becoming a long-term power figure in sports culture. 5 years from now, people may look back at moments like the Chelsea invite, the Paris partnerships, the early NFL scrutiny, and realize they weren't random highlights. They were foundation stones. The fifth-round label? That could become motivational fuel. The global invites? Network expansion. The media pressure? Mental conditioning. All of it feeding into one larger arc. And the most dangerous thing about a player who understands leverage early? They rarely move backwards. They adjust. They recalibrate. They expand. The NFL is watching. Sponsors are watching. Critics are watching. Fans are watching. And Shedeur Sanders seems comfortable with that. Not chasing the noise. Not drowning in it. Just building. Slowly. Strategically. Deliberately. And if performance catches up to positioning, the league won't just have a quarterback. It'll have a movement.